The Democratic convention, as mentioned, kicks off tonight. As you can imagine, I'm very excited. There are really only a few things I'd rather do than watch the DNC convention. For example, stick my face in a blender. I'd rather do that, but my blender isn't working right now, so that's good news for my face, I guess. Anyway, I took note of the theme of the convention, which is this, if you can believe it. The theme is Uniting America. Now, as I've argued extensively in recent months, unity is nothing more than an empty slogan if it is advocated without context. You want unity, okay, great, but what do you mean? Who is uniting, and around what, and why, and to what end? That's certainly the question you would ask if some weirdo on the street came up to you and said, "Hey, friend, let's unite." You'd hear that, and you'd say, what do you mean by unite? Is that some sort of sexual euphemism? You need more information before you agree to it, is the point. So when I hear Democrats call for unity, I have the same question. I'm pretty sure they don't mean it sexually, though you never know with these people, but what do they mean? And that question takes on new urgency when you consider, for example, the words of the Squad's Ringo, Ayanna Pressley, being interviewed on MSNBC this weekend. Here's what she had to say. Listen to this.
I'm looking to the public. You know, this is as much about public outcry and organizing and mobilizing and applying pressure so that this GOP-led Senate and that these governors that continue to carry water for this administration, putting the American peoples in harm's way, turning a deaf ear to the needs of our families and our communities, hold them accountable. Well, make the phone call, send the email, show up. You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives. And unfortunately, there's plenty to go around.
She wants more unrest in the streets. She's not satisfied yet. Pressley sitting on her comfortable perch far away from the burned out neighborhoods, the boarded up stores, the looting, the rioting, the assaults, the murder, the children in cancer treatment centers laying in their beds in terror as they listen to the gunshots, as we talked about last week. Pressley, insulated from all of that, insulated from the chaos and death and destruction, wants more of it, wants it to continue. That's her unity. And she's not alone in the Democrat Party, not at all. In fact, her view is mainstream, is more than mainstream, is the only acceptable or only accepted view, in fact. Another example, a few days ago, BLM activists stormed a suburban neighborhood in Seattle and demanded that white people give up their homes. Listen to that.
Give up your house, give black people back their homes. Thank you. You're sitting there comfortable as if you didn't have gentrify this neighborhood.
I used to live in this neighborhood.
But I used to live in this neighborhood. I didn't live here and my family was pushed out. Yeah. And you're sitting up there having a good time with your other white friends.
Hey, you work for Amazon, don't you? You work for Amazon, don't you? Because the majority of people that live in the Central District now work for Amazon because it's an easier commute to downtown for them. Well, guess what? The guy you work for is part of the problem, too. Yeah. So let's not act like you just are oblivious to this because you knew about it all along and you were okay with it. But guess what? We're not. And we're bringing it to your front door. So what the are you planning to do about it?
Guy in the window is calling the cops.
I don't care.
The cops? And now we're turning the lights off because we called you a gentrifier. No! We're having a hard day. Take accountability.
How do you plan to re-gentrify a black neighborhood that you obviously are part of gentrifying because you live here now?
You notice how having a good job is literally a joke to these people. You guys have jobs at Amazon where you support your families. Losers. But what you have here really is a gang of overgrown children, a gang of clowns and losers demanding that they simply be given what other people have worked for. Now, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was recently asked about this incident by reporters, asked if she condemns what these BLM children are doing. And here's what she said. This is the quote. "Since this is happening in Seattle, I don't have as close of a view on what's happening. Of course, I represent New York's 14th congressional district, so I don't know the details of the protests that are going on. But I think what's really important is that we make sure people are safe, and it's important for us to enact legislation and policy that actually addresses the core reason behind all of this kind of disruption that's happening." And then she added, "Until we do that, this is going to keep occurring, whether we want it to or not." Whether we want it to or not. Well, she wants it to. That much is clear. Now, let's look at some other examples of this unrest in the street that the Democrat Party explicitly endorses and encourages. This is from last night in Portland. A BLM mob caused a man to crash his truck, then knocked him unconscious and left him bleeding in the street. So that's what happened. Let's back up a little bit and see how this all began. I'm going to play that video for you. You'll see the mob swarm a truck. The truck drives away, and in the chaos, ends up crashing. So we'll watch that part first. Watch.
Back up! Back up! Back up!
Okay, so you see that, and then they go to the car. The guy gets out or is dragged out, and I'm not sure which one. And at which point he's held hostage by these people. Detained is the word I've seen used in the media. They detained him as if they're police officers, and then they did this.
Hey, bro, you're not leaving, bro. You're not leaving. Okay. Put your hand.
He's been several.
I
ain't trying to hurt no one down there.
What you mean you're not trying to hurt nobody?
You trying to get
Shut the up, nigga. What you talking about? You right here. What you talking about? What you talking about? You weren't trying to hurt nobody. Not you, bro. I ain't trying to hurt nobody. You doing burnout, buddy. You want to? Watch the out. What you talking about? Watch out, 2 feet. Chill. Hey, chill. You talking about? You talking about? That's on me, nigga. I ain't going nowhere, nigga. Yeah!
And after all of that, of course, they robbed his truck because why not? All in the name of justice, okay, just so you know, and because of, George Floyd or whatever. Now, again, the Democrat Party explicitly supports this. It's not just that they won't condemn it, which they won't, of course, but that they, as you heard from Ringo, they positively advocate for it. So we go back to our original question. What do they mean by unity? They want to unite America. Well, how so? Unite us all in our shared affection for beating white men unconscious? Is that the idea? Well, sort of, yeah. For Democrats, when they say unite, if you do not share their ideology and affirm it absolutely, and especially if you're not in an approved victim group, then they're not looking to unite with you, but rather to unite around a shared hatred of you. For the left and Democrats, the uniting principle is one of vengeance and hatred. And it's vengeance against and hatred of you. That is their unity. Why do you think they won't stand for the anthem? Because it's too inclusive. Oh, say does that Star-Spangled Banner yet wave over the land of the free, the home of the brave? That's far too unifying. It includes too many people. That's their beef with it when it comes down to it. So a unity convention for Democrats is like a dinner party for cannibals. They may invite you to the table, but it's only because you're on the menu. Unity for them is highly specific, highly exclusionary, and anyone who doesn't pass the litmus test is an other, a villain, and they are deserving of any fate that befalls them, including being knocked unconscious in the street. That is the Democrat Party. That is what it stands for. That's the vision it has for this country, and we have seen the vision increasingly realized recently. Voters now just have to decide if they want more of that. Thank you for tuning into the Daily Wire, one of the fastest growing conservative media outlets in the entire country. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and a subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any of our content.